What's up, everyone, and welcome to Play Hard and Love Big Radio, the official podcast of Spotted Dog Yoga and SUP, based out of Folsom, California. Check us out at spotteddogyoga.com. Play Hard and Love Big Radio is dedicated to bringing you the inspirational people and inspirational stories to help you live a more purposeful and passionate life. In today's show, I'm going to be talking about 5 specific ways that you can keep going and that will help you keep going when things get challenging and you want to quit. I want to start by saying what I say a lot in my yoga classes when I'm teaching, and something that I truly believe is that the moment that you want to quit is the moment that the real work begins. When you brush up against some adversity, when things get challenging and when you want to throw in the towel, there's an opportunity to take a step back, to take a few breaths, and to reapproach the situation in a new way so that you can learn, so that you can improve, and so that you can keep going. So often in today's society, people have trained themselves to quit because by quitting what it is that they're doing when things get challenging, it helps them feel like they're in control. It helps them feel like they can always step away from it and get back into a place of comfort. And let's be real here. You know it to be true. If you want growth in your life, you are going to face some uncomfortable situations. Growth comes from stepping outside of your comfort zone. The comfort zone can be a slow death if you're not careful. So be careful when it is that you decide to quit, and be very certain that you've dug your heels in and given your very best, and that you are no longer passionate about what it is that you are doing before you throw in the towel. Now, that being said, if you decide to quit, if you decide to stop doing what you're doing or stop being in that relationship that you're in because it's not serving you and you know it, by putting in 100% of your effort, you will ultimately know the truth. You'll ultimately know what's right. You know, if you put in 100% of your effort into a relationship, really legitimately, you can look at yourself and say, I put 110% into this relationship. I did everything that I could do, and you're honest about it, and it's still not working, then that would be the right time to quit. But if you say, oh, I've been putting 100 to 110% into this relationship, but you really haven't been looking at yourself or how you've been, and you really haven't been being honest with the person in the relationship, then by not actually being honest with yourself, you're not giving yourself the ability to see if that relationship could work. And so quitting in that situation could just become a repeated pattern that happens over and over and over again. So put yourself all the way in and be honest about what it is that you're doing. And that will lead you to what it is that is the most important to you. And then that will help you decide whether or not it's the right time to quit. Okay, so here are the 5 ways, specific ways that you can keep going when things get difficult, when you want to quit. The first way is to remind yourself of your purpose and your goals. Like, why is it you're doing what you're doing, and what is it you're looking to achieve? Right? You've probably heard of SMART goals before, right? Specific goals, measurable goals, achievable goals, relevant goals, and time-bound goals. Like putting a time frame on when it is that you're going to achieve these goals. That's important. So create SMART goals and remember and remind yourself of why you're doing it. Your purpose is what will drive you. Why is it that you're pushing towards doing this specific thing? You know, if you lose your reason why, then you'll lose your passion and your heart for what it is that you're doing. So, remember, remind yourself of your purpose and your goals. I've got a lot of people that come to our studio that I know that write sticky notes and put them on their mirrors in their bathroom, or they have a whiteboard that they draw on. It's a really great way to remind yourself of your purpose and your goals every day when you get out of bed. You may be groggy, you may be tired, maybe you're not ready to face exactly what it is that's in your way. All you got to do is just look at those goals, look at your purpose, and start again. Okay, the second way to keep from quitting when it gets challenging is to break down your tasks into smaller and more manageable steps. The first thing that comes up for me when I think about this is creating the meditation practice that's consistent, or a yoga practice that's consistent, or a running practice that's consistent, or any kind of thing that you want to do that's consistent. If you say that you're going to start something, and the first thing you do is you set out to be like the rock star of this one specific thing, and you decide that you're going to do everything you can the very first week to be the very best that you can at this one specific thing, then a lot of times what happens is people burn out. Their body is not ready, their mind is not ready to achieve these lofty goals. So writing something out and looking into the future and looking at it in the long game is incredibly important. It's so smart to break down your tasks into smaller and more manageable steps. If you do that, you do the little baby steps, you know where you're going, you know what's going to happen because of those little baby steps, but you just keep doing the little baby steps, and one day you'll wake up and you'll be where you wanted to be. And then in that process, you'll have the opportunity to really enjoy the process more too. I think a lot of times if we're trying to get somewhere and we're not paying attention to the little steps that we're taking along the way, we're not paying attention to the journey, then we get where we want to go and we didn't take the time to enjoy the journey. Thus, that time seems kind of wasted. It seems like it wasn't really that fulfilling. Your time becomes way more fulfilling and way more valuable and way more enjoyable if you just break things down into small steps and take those little tiny steps to get to where it is you want to go. The third way to keep from quitting when you want to quit, when it gets challenging, when you're faced with adversity, is really to be around community. Seek some support and feedback from others. Community is so important. I've always believed, and I still believe, and I will always believe that we become the best version of ourselves around other people. And it may be that we see somebody doing something that we don't want to do or being a certain way that we don't want to be. And that's how we grow around people. Or it may be that we are around people that inspire us and that lift us up and excite us to be bigger versions of ourselves. And that's another way in which we can grow and inspire ourselves from community. The circle that you surround yourself with is who you become. We've talked about this on podcasts before. I remember Katie talked about it a little bit on one. She said that show me 4 smokers and you'll be the fifth smoker, right? Who you hang out with is who you become. So look at your circle. I think that if your circle is not pushing you in some way, shape, or form to be a better person, to be a better athlete, to go beyond your limitations, then there's a really good opportunity to change your circle so that you can improve and change who you are. So look at your circle, look who you're hanging out with. And in that circle, if they are people that lift you up, that inspire you, that bring positivity, then those are the people you want to seek support and feedback from. Talk to them about what it is your goals are. Talk to them about what it is you're doing and why it is that you're doing it. Those people will be behind you. Those people will help you find solutions or connections to help you get to where you want to go. If you don't talk about it, if you don't share it with anyone, then no one's going to know what it is that you need. No one's going to be behind you or supporting you in what it is that you're doing because no one knows what it is that you're doing. So you have to share it. As hard as it can be to do that, you've got to do it. Now, you can use social media to do that. That's a powerful way to do it for a lot of people and kind of a nice little icebreaker. But I do think the very most powerful way that you can share what it is that you're up to and why it is that you're up to what you're up to. Why it is you're up to what you're up to? How many times can you say up to in a sentence? A lot, I'm sure. But is to share it vocally. Share what it is that you're up to with people vocally. Share what it is that you need from people. Share with people when it gets hard, when you face challenges and struggle, when you want to quit. Share with them. Those are the people that'll pick you back up and they'll bring you back to the front of the line. They'll get you back at the front of the race and carry you to the finish line. Don't be afraid to share. People want to hear what you got going on, because when you start to share, not only does it become a supporting mechanism for you, but also when you start to share, you become one of those people that inspires other people to take their lives to a whole new level. You become somebody that somebody else wants in their inner circle, because when you're in their inner circle, they become a better version of themselves. So don't forget to share. That's way number 3. Way number 4, to keep from quitting when you're running up against adversity or when it's challenging or when you want to quit is to remember to also celebrate your wins. You got to celebrate your wins. When something goes your way, celebrate, throw a party for yourself. And then you got to let go of that and you got to start over, because little successes are great. You've got to acknowledge that you put the work in to get them, but you can't hang on to them for too long, because the next thing you know, there's an opportunity to grow. Okay, so celebrate your wins, but then let go of your celebrations and continue to move forward. The second part of that that I think is really important is learn from your losses. So you can celebrate your wins, but you got to learn from your losses as well. And I think most of you do that. I know the people that live to the that listen to this podcast. I know that you learn from your losses. Those things you don't do the way you wanted to do, or those things you do that you had no awareness around how you were doing them incorrectly or how it was leading you in the wrong direction. When you realize that you were doing something that could be improved, take those, put them in as feedback and improve yourself. That's a really awesome and easy way to continue to forge forward and move forward. And, I think it's interesting too, that I just assume that people are like this because this is how I am. But maybe you're not like this typically. Maybe you don't learn from your losses. Maybe something bad happens or it doesn't work out the way you want it to and you sulk in it. That's not something that I typically do anymore, but it's a muscle you have to create. It's just like going to the gym and pumping weights, or going out on a hike and working up the hill, or going on a bike ride and challenging yourself to stay balanced on your bike as you move through different obstacles. It's a muscle that you have to create to learn from losses as opposed to be torn down from losses. So notice if you're getting torn down from losses, and instead look at them as a really great opportunity to grow. If you are failing or falling down or not getting where you want to go, there's opportunity for you to learn. Now, also from your victories, those things that you do really well, that you feel really good about, there's an opportunity for you to learn there too. So celebrate your wins and learn from your losses. And I think that you'll feel much better about what it is you're doing, and you'll continue to forge forward in a very positive way. Okay, the fifth way to keep from quitting when you really want to quit is to practice gratitude and positivity. Hey, every opportunity that you have is designed for you specifically from a higher power. I believe that there's someone guiding us, that our creator has put us on this planet to do specific things, to be purposeful in what it is that we're doing, even if what we're doing isn't typically feeling purposeful. And everything that happens, whether you see it as good or you see it as bad, is a really great experience for you to learn from, to grow from, to change the world from. So find gratitude for those good things, for those challenging things, for those things that are hard. Find gratitude for those, because if you look at them in the right way, you will find that there is an opportunity to grow from them. If they weren't there, you couldn't grow. And if you don't look at those things in a way of gratitude or positivity, then ultimately they'll bury you. They'll make you feel like crap. They'll make you stop putting yourself out there. But there's really no better time to put yourself out there than when you're facing adversity. I think that, if I go to do something that's challenging, what can kind of happen is a little waterfall effect for me. If I know it's going to be tough, first and foremost, and then I know it's going to be raining, it's going to make it extra tough. And then I know I'm going with some people that are a little bit slower or not as inspiring. Then I know that my uh, bike isn't as nice as the people that I'm riding with. And I know that, I didn't sleep so good the night before because my boys were up all night long. And I know that I didn't eat so well the night before, or even eat breakfast very well, or haven't been in as good a shape, and I might not be in as good a shape as the people I'm going with. That what happens is that I don't want to go. You got to be careful about creating excuses to why it is you can't do anything. Because if you can find one excuse, you can find 10 excuses. And if you're the kind of person that can find one excuse, you're the kind of person that will find 10 excuses. And if you're the kind of person that can find one excuse and can find 10 excuses, then believe me, you don't just do it in one activity that's hard. You do it in every single thing that you do. Your attitude for life is to find excuses to how not to do the things that are really important to you. And that's a bad set of habits to have. You have to have habits that inspire you to do it. So if you notice right away that you have one excuse for one thing that you think that is important to you, you have to really double check and take a breath and evaluate whether or not you're creating an excuse to why you can't do it or whether or not the reason is incredibly valid. Because if you're just making excuses up, then you're not going to be able to do the things or see the people that you want to see, because you'll constantly be keeping yourself from doing them. You'll constantly be finding a way to keep yourself in your little bubble, your little comfort zone, so that you don't have to put yourself out into the world. But when you do that, you miss out on life. So let's not miss out on life, okay? And let's do a little recap here for this one. The 5 different ways in which you can forge forward, move forward, plow forward, burst forward in the face of adversity. When you want to quit, when you want to throw in the towel. First way, remind yourself of your purpose and your goals. Second way, break down your task into simple, smaller, and more manageable steps. Third way, seek support and feedback from other people and build your community wisely. Fourth way, celebrate your wins and learn from your losses. Fifth way, practice gratitude and positivity. And the little extra bonus piece at the end, remember, if you're making one excuse for one thing, you will make 10 excuses for that one thing. And the more excuses you make, the harder it will be to get out into the world and explore and to live. And you got to keep on living, LIVIN. And that's how we do it here at Play Hard and Live Big Radio. Thanks so much for checking out this podcast and for sharing it. It's growing. It's amazing how it's growing. And the only way that it's really growing is through you sharing it. And so we really appreciate you. Play Hard and Love Big Radio is the official podcast of Spotted Dog Yoga and SUP. Check us out at spotteddogyoga.com. Play Hard and Love Big Radio is dedicated to bringing you the inspirational people and the inspirational stories to help you connect to your center and live a more purposeful and passionate life. We're available on all the popular and probably unpopular podcast streaming platforms, including YouTube, where you can watch this all on video. So check out YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube, click the alert button, and get notified every time that we put a new episode out. So awesome having you on the show. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out.